Money always has to move. It's just a matter of what way is it going and what currencies is it moving in.
Here at Money 2020 Europe in Amsterdam, payments, especially global payments, is more palpable than ever before. And joining me now to talk more about the trends that she's seen in the space and how her company plays into it is Alex Johnson. She is Chief Payments Officer at Nium. Alex, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Great to have you here, yeah. What brings you to Money 2020?
Honestly, this is just the best conference to be at because it brings everybody together. We have all of our partners, we have our customers, we get to see what's kind of new, who's new and up and coming in the space as far as technology and capabilities. We get to present ourselves to new people. It's the place where things really happen. And so for me, it's an insane couple of days, right? Everything is back to back nonstop, but it's just an amazing, productive, awesome time. Ideas generated, business happening. It's just great.
For our viewers who might not be familiar with your company that you work at, Nium, what more can you tell us about the service that it is filling in the marketplace?
Sure. So Nium is a global real-time payments infrastructure. So when I say that, if you think about payments infrastructure in localized markets, there's these localized real-time payment schemes that were created for very specific purposes, and they don't interconnect. So then when you think about making payments cross-border and you want that instantaneous real-time feel of a local payment, that's not simple, but we make that simple. So we kind of come in and we provide almost like an invisible infrastructure to customers who are looking to make those payments, for them to be able to make these seamless, near real-time or real-time transactions. So we're in this really exciting stage of the company. We are really focused in on enterprise use cases. A lot of B2C and B2B flows is where we're really honed in. And we really think about how we deliver just the best customer experience when it comes to making a payment. And I say that because, in one sense, it's about the infrastructure that I mentioned, but then what we're also thinking about is the what's next in that overall end-to-end customer experience. So we think about things like fraud prevention tools. So we've built solutions against fraud prevention that you can layer on top of payments, or how can you think about ease of integration to payments infrastructure? So we've got many different ways customers can connect to us. And so we really try to make it so that payments can be for everyone in every company, essentially, cross-border.
What are the trends that you're seeing in the cross-border payment space right now?
It's an interesting time to be in the space because at one point in time, payments was pretty simple. It was the movement of cash. You either did that via a wire, in the US where I'm obviously based, it was a check maybe. It was very simple, handing cash to somebody. But the space has evolved so much, and it's not just about the movement of cash now. Now you have infrastructure like stable coins coming into play, a digitized money that now you have to think about how that really plays in the ecosystem. And we are in this time period where I think some of that infrastructure is really starting to integrate more with traditional or TradFi. That's the term I know that folks like to use for regular payments, I guess you could say, sure. TradFi. So where we are now is there's been this kind of coming together of old and new. So it's not so much about out with the old, in with the new when it comes to technology. We've really reached a point where the infrastructure that's existed for decades has value and it is incredibly useful. And so we need to just take advantage of that and then innovate on top of that, which is where I think some of these come into play, where you think about digital payments, when you think about stable coins, when you think about faster money movement in general. And I think when we also think again about faster money movement, obviously stable coins comes into play, but anytime you think about moving things faster, you also have to think about the fact that fraudsters move faster,
right.
And you have to then at the same time think about what's the right level of friction that you need to think about in a payment to give customers the confidence of the security, of the transparency and all of that in the transaction. So again, when I kind of go back to my first point about everybody coming together here, it's not always just payments people here, right? You've got your stablecoin folks, you have your pure payments players, you have your banks, you have identity players, you have fraud prevention players. It's an ecosystem that's really just grown into a bigger thing than just a traditional payment.
What is next for Nium?
For Nium, we are just thinking the sky's the limit, I guess, for us when it comes to the customer experience.
Yeah.
So we have really done a great job of growing the breadth and depth of the capabilities that we offer as a payments infrastructure. And any payment you want to make, any payment rail, any real-time scheme, we've got you. We can do it. I think now what we have to think about, though, and kind of to my point earlier, is how do you then think about everything else that comes into making a payment? Because that's just one piece, right? The last mile of the transaction is one piece. There's so much that happens before and even after that point.
Yeah.
So how do you think about FX? How do you think about treasury management? How do you think about, again, fraud? How do you think about integration?
Yeah.
How do you think about onboarding? So all of these different elements of making a transaction that don't really sit in one place today. And dare I say again, to kind of the ecosystem that's here, they're all separate players. And I think where a player like Nium comes into place is we become this aggregator of these services. And if we don't do that, then we aren't delighting our customer or giving them everything they need to be able to take full advantage of what we offer.
Alex Johnson, Chief Payments Officer at Nium. Alex, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.